everybody, today on Smoky Mountain Food, Faith, and Fun, we're making a delicious summer squash chicken and cornbread dressing casserole. It is so good, and you're going to want to see how we do it. Stay tuned! Okay, the first thing that we need to do for this southern cornbread chicken and squash dressing is we're going to bake off about a pound of chicken breast, or you can use any kind of chicken that you like, thighs or boneless thighs or whatever you like, or if you've got a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, you can do that too. You're just going to need some chicken. I guess it's probably going to be about 3 cups, and whatever we don't use in the casserole, we can definitely make some chicken salad out of for lunch. So we're going to season it generously with this is a rotisserie seasoning. It goes really well on chicken. Pretty much any all-purpose seasoning would work. So whatever you like the best. It's up to you. You could just do salt and pepper if that's what you want. But I think this has got some onion powder and things like that in it. So it's going to go in the 375 degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. And we're going to let that rest. The juices can come out, and we might use some of those juices in our dressing. Good afternoon, friends. It's Christy, and we are going to make some supper. Specifically, we're going to make a chicken and summer squash cornbread dressing. This is a 3-part process. First, we have to chop the veggies. Second, we need to saute some things on the stove, the veggies on the stove with some butter. And then we need to put together the casserole and bake it. So if you want to come along with me while I chop the veggies, I might talk to you a little bit about some things I've been thinking about in my mind, and you can maybe comment back and tell me what you're thinking. But we're going to get started with that. Okay, so we're going to need about 4 cups of summer squash. So I've got 5 of these little summer squash picked up at the local, one of the local farmers markets. We need 2 ribs of celery, and then a large onion. Didn't have a large onion, so I've got 2 smaller vidalia onions. But I'm going to start with the squash. I'm going to chop off these ends. And I'm going to cut these somewhat small because we're going to saute them in with the celery and the onions so that they will cook good, so that they'll cook well. And I know that the squash is going to render a lot of water, which is going to run through the flavor of our cornbread dressing. So I guess these are about, maybe 1 to 1/2 inch pieces. We'll cut that up pretty quick. I washed these earlier in the sink. I always think that chopping vegetables is therapeutic. It might not be everyone's favorite job, but I don't mind it. I take pride in my vegetable chopping. So this morning when I got up, I was just thinking about a lot of things, thinking specifically about the last year in our life journey, in our house and in our family. And I'll tell you, it's been rough, and we'll touch on the specifics at some point, probably next month in July. But I just felt very thankful to the Lord that He has seen us through everything, and that we're here, and that we're waking up each day, and we have a home, and our family is healthy, and for the most part everyone is healthy, and I just feel so blessed, and it's been a really difficult last couple of years for most people with the virus and with a difficult climate in our country, and there's just so much going on. It's hard. It's very easy to be discouraged a lot, and to be discouraged a lot of the time. And I think we can let ourselves get into that rut of discouragement. And I know I definitely have, and I'm typically a pretty upbeat and joyful person, but this last few years has been really hard to be that way. And I have to remember that the joy of my life is the Lord, and that the circumstances that we go through, even though some of them have been tragic, that has to be where our joy comes from, because otherwise we just can't make it. So I just wanted to encourage you today, while I chop the vegetables, to lean into the Lord. I had found that it had been a while since I'd even put on some music, some worship music, and just sort of allowed it to speak to my heart. I just kind of had gotten into the habit of going through the daily emotions of life, and I hadn't been reading my devotions as much, and my faith had never left, but I just kind of wasn't leaning the way I needed to and need to every day. And I just want to encourage you, if that's where you are, to do that, to go to the Lord. He's there. He's never left us, and He'll never leave us and forsake us. His Word tells us that. But going into tomorrow, it's Friday, and Brooks is going to be doing his devotionals on Fridays. I think he's got something planned. I just wanted to give some thoughts today. It's Thursday, so maybe we'll call it Thoughtful Thursday. Some thoughts about where my head has been, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to share some of our life with y'all. I hope that you get something out of it. Hope that you can learn something from us, and maybe we can learn something from you. We definitely would like it if everybody would comment, and we'd like to get to know you as you are getting to know us. So that's pretty much where my thoughts were. Just feeling thankful to have another day. Thankful that the Lord has provided all of our needs. And it's not always the way we would want it to be provided for. And it's certainly not the way we expect Him to provide. But He does. And He always comes through for every need that we have. So I just want you to think about that promise today, because His Word says that He will. And if you don't know the Lord, I hope that maybe we can help you get to know the Lord through these videos. And we don't want to preach at you. We understand that that's uncomfortable. But we just want to share what He's done for us. And that's all. That's all it really is we want to share what He's done for us, and hope that maybe somebody is encouraged by that. Alright, we are almost coming to the end of the squash. The repetitive motion of chopping vegetables is just therapeutic to me. So it's not quite squash season for those of you who make gardens, but I just wanted to get a recipe out there using these beautiful summer squash, so that anybody who's looking for something to do with squash can see it. This is definitely a comfort dish. Alright, time for the celery. Now I leave the leaves on it if they're pretty, because I think that that's the green going through the dish looks nice. So I'm curious, I have seen celery done so many different ways. Do you peel your celery? I'm curious. My first mother-in-law used to peel her celery, and I thought that was the strangest thing, because we never peeled our celery. I can see peeling it if it's raw. There we go. I'm not going to make these real big pieces because I don't like, I like the taste of celery, I just don't like real big pieces.
You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are with us, we are not alone. You remind us to hold on to hope. When we are lost in pain, we cry out your name, and you are faithful.
Okay, everybody, we are done with the chopping of the vegetables. I hope you enjoyed the music while I was chopping. Maybe it spoke to your heart. Maybe it just helped you to relax after a busy day. And I will see you in just a moment over at the stove while we get these sauteed up with some butter and some spices. So for my seasonings, they're fairly simple. I've got some poultry seasoning and a little bit of slap your mama, but don't slap your mama, Cajun seasoning. Now, the slap your mama has a lot of salt and it is spicy. If you do not like that kind of thing, I would definitely just use an all-purpose seasoning. I'm not going to use very much because I don't want it to overpower the flavor of our squash and the chicken and the cornbread. But I am going to use a little bit just to give it a little bit of flavor. But we don't want anything way too hot, so we're not going to just dump it in there. But I'm thinking maybe a tablespoon and a half of the slap ya mama will incorporate nicely throughout the whole dish. And our butter is melting. This is salted butter. So you always want to remember what has salt in it when you're cooking so that you don't over salt anything, because remember, you can always add it but you can't take it out. And I am a firm believer in tasting before you call it a day and say it's good. Now we're going to dump our veggies in and get them into a saute. And I'm probably gonna fast forward through this, maybe a little music for your listening pleasure while we watch these vegetables get nice and tender. Gonna beat our eggs because our stuffing is gonna have to have a few eggs so that it binds together and cooks nicely. Just a light beat is plenty. Okay, at this point I'm going to go ahead and add our seasonings. I'd say that's about a tablespoon and a half of the Slap Ya Mama. Just want those veggies to absorb that flavor. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the poultry seasoning. And I cooked our chicken this morning when I was gonna make breakfast, and that came out really good. So that's already been cooked and chopped up, and it's ready to throw in. Very easy when you do a little bit of prep ahead of time. Dinner doesn't seem quite so intimidating. Those veggies are reducing down very nicely, and I think I'm gonna try it and see what the flavor's like. It's For me, that's perfect. It's got enough salt, got enough spice, got enough flavor. Oh wow, that's gonna be good. I might add just a tiny little bit more slap your mama. We don't want to add too much because too much will ruin it. Alright, I think these are sufficiently cooked down. Look how much liquid is in there. That's going to definitely be absorbed by our cornbread. Made our cornbread yesterday. I have been asked to share my eggless cornbread recipe, which turned out to be pretty good, even though I didn't mean it. It's one of them oopsie moments, but it worked out. Okay, we are going to turn these off, and we will head back over to the island and get this dressing put together, and then I'm going to tell you a funny story about dressing. Okay friends, we are back. Our veggies are done, and we're going to put this beautiful chicken and summer squash cornbread dressing casserole together. Alright, in this bowl I've got 1 can of cream of chicken soup and my egg. I'm going to give that a quick whisk, get that incorporated, because I don't want my warm ingredients to scramble my eggs, so we're going to scramble it in with the soup. Give it a good whisk so that it's not lumpy and get the lumps out of the chicken soup that sometimes happens in the canned chicken soup. Good to me. And next we're going to go ahead and put in our veggies. They are still hot, so we gotta be careful. You have no idea how good this smells, and I really know you have no idea how good this smells, but it really smells wonderful. Summer squash season's coming up on us, and you know, summer squash is just one of those things that it's like a chameleon. It kind of takes on the flavor of whatever you decide to do with it. Mix that around. Look at that. Oh, I can't wait. I hope this is so amazing. Alright. Next is our chicken. This was they weren't real big chicken breasts, but I guess this is probably about 2 to 2.5 cups of chicken. And I just baked that off this morning. You can boil your chicken. You can get a rotisserie chicken. Whatever is easiest and best for you. We had some chicken in the freezer, so we used what we had. Oh my goodness. Honestly, guys. Oh, it smells good. Alright, next is our cornbread. This is about 4 cups of cornbread. I'm going to add half and see where we are. This is about half of a 10-inch skillet of homemade cornbread. You could use Jiffy Mix, that will make it a bit sweeter. Or sometimes you can buy cornbread in the supermarket bakery. We're going to go ahead and just mix it all. There we are. Now, this is a recipe that is mine. I have looked at several other recipes and kind of decided against some things and for some things, and decided on my own what exactly is going to work out best for my recipe. And that's really how you cook, is you decide what works best for you. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, yummy. Alright, it is pretty moist, but I am going to add a little bit of chicken stock, just a little bit at a time, until I think it's good. And remember, the soup and chicken stock, all of that has salt in it. So you don't want to over salt. Ooh, yummy. I'd say we use probably about a cup of chicken. Is it chicken stock? Chicken broth with less sodium, so a little less sodium is always good. Alright, so I'm a northerner, Brooks is a southerner, and we like to poke at each other while we're, well, we just like to poke at each other, it's fun, but we mean it all in love. And apparently in the South they call this dressing, and in the North we a lot of times call it stuffing. So we affectionately call it dressing. What do you call it in your house? I have learned the difference. The difference is actually dressing is something that goes alongside your meal. It dresses your meal, and stuffing goes inside the bird. So I guess technically he is correct. But to me it's still stuffing. Alright, I think that is good. Alright, I've got my little, it's about a 9 by 13. Slightly smaller than a 9 by 13, but it fits in our toaster oven, which is my preferred method to bake because it doesn't heat up my whole house and it takes a lot less electricity. Oh, guys, this sure smells good. I can't even. And that filled that right up perfectly. Look at that squash, celery, alright, I am unsure as to how long this needs to bake. I'll let you know when it's finished, but we are going to put it in the 350 degree oven, and we're going to see you back in just a little bit. Fritzy says we'll see you later. We are about 20 minutes in, and it's starting to bubble, and it is looking and smelling so good. Okay, everybody, our wonderful summer squash dressing with chicken is really done. It smells awesome. I truly wish that there was smell-o-vision. I know I say that every time, but it's true. I just wish that y'all could smell this. It is yummy, yummy. And it's just, you know, it looks maybe a little boring, but I can tell you it is flavor, flavor, flavor. It is so smelling so good. So I'm anxious to try it. So Brooks is at Bible school tonight. He's helping with videoing and whatever he can help with at our little Bible school up in the Glades in Gatlinburg. So I'm on my own tonight. So I'm going to try it because I don't want to wait for him. Alright. Can you see that? Oh, it's piping hot. I wish you could smell it. I really, really wish you could smell it. Ugh. And this will feed 4 to 6 people easily. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? It is hot, I know. But it looks so good. Alright, I'm anxious. I want to see what we got. Get a little bit of the squash, some celery, some chicken. I want a perfect bite. Still hot. Hey, you know it's fresh. Mm. Oh,